There's been talk that Matthew Stafford might be on the move in Los Angeles. And let's be real, there aren't many teams more in need of a quarterback than the Raiders. Things are still up in the air for us at quarterback. With a new regime coming in, the Raiders were set to draft high, but now they'd have to trade up to snag one of the top two quarterbacks. Now, if you look at Stafford, he's still got a strong arm, and he's still effective on the field. He'd be a massive upgrade over anyone we have right now. Check out this throw from Stafford. It's almost like he's throwing 100 yards. He's always been talented. Remember, he was the #1 pick and a Super Bowl champion. But the real problem is the money. Stafford would come with a massive $50 million cap hit. So, what do you think? Would bringing in a veteran like Stafford be worth it? Personally, I think it could be a huge mistake, but I want to hear what you all think. Now, here's what we know. Stafford's future in Los Angeles is uncertain. He led the Rams to a championship in his first year, but the last couple of seasons have been a little rocky, mainly due to injuries, not because of his play. When he's healthy, Stafford's been consistent and productive, but let's be honest, he's getting older. He'll be 37 this season. Reports say the Rams are open to trading him, but they want at least a first-round pick in return. So, for the Raiders, that's probably where the conversation ends. I just can't see any team in their right mind trading a first-round pick for a 37-year-old quarterback who's not going to immediately turn you into a Super Bowl contender. There are also reports suggesting the Rams might move on from Stafford, possibly because of his family's issues. His wife, Kelly, has a podcast where she's been pretty critical of the Rams' front office and their decisions. Some even say this could be one of the reasons they got rid of Cooper Kupp, due to off-field drama. The Rams' front office is reportedly getting tired of all the back and forth, according to Colin Cowherd from Fox Sports. So, that brings us to the big question. What would it take for a team like the Raiders to get Stafford if they decided to go after him? It's a tricky year for the Raiders. We have a new regime in charge, with Tom Brady, Pete Carroll, and John Spanos all wanting to win now. The fans want to win now. Max Crosby wants to win now. That's why I keep throwing around ideas about what the Raiders should do at quarterback. Ideally, I'd like to see a veteran quarterback brought in and also draft a quarterback of the future this year. If they could land one of the top 2 prospects in this draft, I'd love to see them build the team around them the right way. But let's be real. Nobody's really excited about trading away valuable draft picks for a 37-year-old quarterback who only has 2 years left on his contract. The whole trade package would be the deciding factor for me. It all comes down to what we're giving up and how much salary we're taking on. We've got a lot of cap space, but it's important to remember the Raiders have plenty of needs to fill. There are players like Trevon Merrick and others who are up for re-signing, and there are still a lot of gaps on the roster that need to be addressed. Plus, don't forget that Max Crosby needs to be taken care of too. So, when we talk about having the second most cap space in the NFL, we need to keep that in perspective. So here's my question. Do you think it's realistic for the Raiders to go after Matthew Stafford this year? And if so, what kind of compensation would you be willing to give up for him? To me, Stafford's deal would have to be restructured. From what I've seen, there's over $30 million in dead cap money on his contract. It wouldn't save the Raiders much. Only about $4.3 million. The Rams would still take on a huge $45.3 million dead cap hit. So, for me, it's clear there are a lot of factors at play if Stafford's moving out of Los Angeles. Now, there were rumors that the New York Giants might be interested in Stafford and were even considering trading their #3 pick for him. But Adam Schefter shut that down, and honestly, that doesn't seem realistic. No one is going to trade the 3rd pick for a 37-year-old quarterback. So, for a trade to happen, Stafford's contract would have to be restructured. But here's the thing. The Raiders are always involved in quarterback talks. So I look at every quarterback on the market and think, what would it take for us to get them? Or what does it mean if another team goes after them? Personally, I'm against the idea of trading for Matthew Stafford. I think he's a solid player, but for the money and what we'd have to give up, it doesn't make sense for the Raiders. Ideally, here's how it could work out for us. If another quarterback-needy team ahead of us in the draft trades for Stafford, That could help us land our guy. But to be honest, I don't think the Rams are going to be able to trade Stafford. They've already sent Cooper Kupp packing, but I don't see them pulling the trigger on this deal. It's hard for them to blow up their QB room, and it would be even harder to shed all the dead money from his contract. That's what makes it tough for the Raiders, too. It just doesn't make financial sense. Stafford isn't going to be around much longer, and taking on that kind of money doesn't add up. Hey, if you liked what you heard, hit that like button and subscribe. Raider Nation, we've got you covered with daily shorts, and later today, we'll be going live to talk more about this.